You're listening to the Holy Joe Rock and Roll Show. It's not just rock and roll, it's Holy Joe Rock and Roll. You're listening to the Holy Joe Rock and Roll Show. It's not just rock and roll, it's Holy Joe Rock and Roll.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Holy Joe Rock and Roll. Coming up.
You're listening to the Holy Joe Rock and Roll Show. It's not just rock and roll.
Now, just recently, a couple days
it's
ago,
Holy Joe Rock and Roll.
Abortion legalization bill allowing abortion in New York State basically up until the time of birth, which is insane.
You're listening to the Holy Joe Rock and Roll Show.
You know that baby is viable.
It's not just rock and roll.
As little as 20 weeks.
It's Holy Joe Rock and Roll.
38, 40-week-old baby in the womb that you can murder up until just before birth. This is insanity.
You're listening to the Holy Joe Rock and Roll Show.
Who's wanting this?
It's not just rock and roll.
This bill,
it's Holy Joe
is now talking about
Rock and Roll.
Passing a similar bill, which would actually allow for the murder of post-birth babies, meaning that if
you're listening to the Holy Joe Rock and Roll Show,
possible genetic defect, for example,
it's not just rock and roll. It's Holy Joe
kill it.
Rock and Roll.
Who's pushing this abortion stuff? Well, what I can tell you is, I think that we all know that Ruth Bader
You're
Ginsburg,
listening to the Holy Joe Rock and Roll Show.
Okay, she hasn't actually.
It's not just rock and roll. It's Holy Joe Rock and Roll.
Lung cancer, 2 nodes removed from her lungs. She's, I believe, 85 years old, and she's dying. She's gonna die soon. So they're probably doing.
You're listening to the Holy Joe Rock and Roll Show.
As you can see,
it's not just rock and roll. It's Holy Joe Rock and Roll.
And Roe v. Wade will be overturned. There is no mythical constitutional right to murder babies. That's just insanity. When the United States
You're listening to the Holy Joe Rock and Roll Show. It's not just rock and roll. It's Holy Joe Rock and Roll.
Unalienable rights. Among these, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's in the Declaration of Independence. So we know that abortion is murder.
You're listening to the Holy Joe Rock and Roll Show.
Let's just be honest about it.
It's not just rock and roll.
What's happening is
it's Holy Joe Rock and Roll.
Because there is no constitutional right for murder. It makes no sense. And as always, well, usually has been expressed by scholars, is that
you're listening to the Holy Joe Rock and Roll Show. It's not just rock and roll.
And I believe
it's Holy Joe Rock and Roll.
States like New York and now Virginia to preemptively push for these state abortion laws to deal with the upcoming fact that Roe v. Wade will
You're listening to the Holy Joe Rock and Roll Show. It's not just rock and roll. It's Holy Joe Rock and Roll.
That is, can't hear what's going on. Let me fix that. I do apologize. For some reason, I just got this laptop fixed, and now the headphones are not working, but everything else is working. So I do apologize for that. What we were talking about is, New York's passed an abortion law allowing you to have abortion up to the birth of the child. Virginia's now flirting with the same kind of thing even worse, where you could potentially kill a child after it's born if you would have potentially killed it when it was in uterus, in the womb. And the reason for this, I believe, is these states are preemptively passing laws, state laws, to deal with the fact that Roe v. Wade will be overturned. That there is no constitutional right to abortion. The Supreme Court in 1972, I guess, passed or approved abortion. This was, nobody was asking for abortion in America. It was only some Jews in New York that were pushing this. This is a documented fact. Roe, who was the mother who wanted an abortion, claimed that she was raped, and that was part of the arguments used to legalize abortion. Some 20 years later, probably because of guilt and who knows what else, just realizing that what she did was wrong, she admitted that she was never raped. That was a lie, and it was used. She was used by the left, by the progressives, by the Jews to get abortion pushed through the Supreme Court. Now notice, just like gay marriage, no state where there was a referendum ever supported gay marriage. They always supported the idea that marriage, by definition, is between one man and one woman. But it was crammed. Both of these issues were crammed down our throats by the Supreme Court, stacked with liberal judges. Right now, out of the 9 Supreme Court justices, I believe 3 of them are Jews. That leaves 5. 4 are Catholic and 1 is Protestant or evangelical. Come on, man. That's way out of whack with the demographics of people who consider themselves to be Jews. Jews, by definition, are rejectors of Jesus Christ. This country, the United States, was founded on Christian beliefs, or if you want to say deist beliefs, but still based on God, based on the Bible, based on the 10 Commandments, based on life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So that's what's happening now, I believe, is Roe v. Wade will be, within a couple of years, will be overturned. There will be a challenge to some of these state laws, probably. They'll probably go to the Supreme Court, and with RGB, who's dead or dying, she will be dead soon. She's effectively dead. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she will be replaced by possibly another Jew, but probably a conservative Jew, or at least a woman, probably a woman, but a conservative woman. And this will change the makeup of the Supreme Court, 5-3, conservative versus liberal. And yeah, Roe v. Wade will be overturned, and these states are going to, and that's what scholars have always said, that abortion was not a federal right. It was not a constitutional right. But all those things not explicitly defined in the Constitution as powers of the executive or the judicial or the legislative were to be given to the states. So I have to agree that it is a state issue. And people have to wake up and contact your legislative bodies, your governors, especially right now in Virginia, and tell them, do not pass this abortion bill that will allow for abortion up to birth and even after, post-birth abortion. Abortion equals murder. Let's just be honest. If you believe in science, you know that babies are viable outside the womb as early as 20 weeks, sometimes even 12 weeks. Babies have been delivered and survived outside the womb. So this is really a critical time in our life, but the trends continue to be towards populism, nationalism, and conservatism, because the left has gone so far to the left that it's really making people not only upset, but just disgusted with what has happened. I mean, you've taken the things like gay marriage and abortion, where people were tolerant, not accepting of it, but just tolerant, and now you're trying to cram it down our throats and make us accept it. And it's just not acceptable. I'm a father, by the way, I'm a father with 6 kids. that I know of. Maybe there's more out there. Call me up, kids. And there's nothing greater than having kids. I wrote a song called Super Sperm. It's on bandcamp.holyjoe.com or holyjoe.bandcamp.com. You can check it out, where I talk about making 6 kids is not a lot. And it's not a lot. You know, if you can have 1, you can have 2. If you can have 3, you can have 6. The factory's still open. I'm thinking about cranking up the production. All right? So, by all means, depopulation is not an option. You need to make babies. All right? You need to build replacement units and raise them to be good and strong and believe in themselves, and not to fall for this diabolical, demonistic things like abortion and gay marriage, which makes absolutely no sense. So, this is Holy Joe Rock and Roll, coming to you live and unscripted. I'll just end on this thing. Don't imprison yourself with abortion and gay rights. Get the hell out of jail. Come to Jesus, because hashtag only Jesus saves. This has been Holy Joe Rock and Roll, reminding you to always make it happen for the captain, because you're the captain.